With the summer winding down, WWE decides every August, well, sometimes every August, but every year towards the end of the summer, they throw their biggest party of the summer, Summerslam, and with this year's card starting to take shape, it looks like it's going to be a stellar two-night event. But what if I could rearrange some things, maybe kind of go back in time a little bit to maybe have some more items at my disposal, maybe less injuries, and maybe somebody with a briefcase to kind of shake things up a little bit more. Because I am here to give you guys my two-night extravaganza. Welcome to Quick Time Reactions. My name is Daniel Strunk, and this is how I would book out SummerSlam for both nights. Now, for a bit of context, I wrote up this card, I think maybe a couple days after Night of Champions. So this has been a video that I have been wanting to make for quite a while. I have not gotten around to it, and once they started confirming matches, I was like, oh crap, I need to make this video like ASAP. So again, like I said in my intro, my card is going to be a little bit different from what is already confirmed for SummerSlam. So there's going to be a lot of different matchups, and just a lot of different directions that WWE has gone in. Well, I'm taking a bit of a different direction. So without further ado, let us get into night one of the show. So, we have in our opening matchup, we have for the Intercontinental Championship, Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles. Now, this one is going to be, this is one that's been building up for quite some time. I think they were going to have a match at Night of Champions, but Dominic was injured, so that match was pulled from the card. Well, it's not going to be pulled for SummerSlam because Dominic is going to be healed up, and plus the show's not being taking place in Saudi Arabia, and these two are going to have an absolutely amazing match. Of course, AJ working valiantly as the babyface, of course, Dominic being the cheating heel. Really good back and forth between the two of them. At one point, Dominic will hit like the Three Amigos and the Frog Splash, but AJ Styles somehow is able to kick out. Dominic showing a little bit of babyface tenacity and willpower, actually drags AJ while AJ has him in the calf crusher. Dominic gets to the bottom ropes to force a break, but in the end, Dominic goes for a springboard, but his leg gives out from the calf crusher. AJ is able to capitalize and hit a Styles Clash to win the IC title and to kick off what is probably going to be his last championship reign before he retires in the next year. Moving on, we have the Women's United States Championship as Julia will be defending against Alexa Bliss. Now, I know on Evolution they had Zelina Vega eliminate Julia to kind of like facilitate the reasoning for a rematch, but again, this is my booking, it's my rules. In this matchup, Charlotte Flair is accompanying Alexa Bliss to ringside. And it's really good back and forth between the two of them. Again, new style, new wrestler versus more veteran wrestler in Alexa Bliss. Again, really good back and forth matchup between the two of them. Charlotte, the interesting thing in this match is Charlotte is, has opportunities to try and cheat on Alexa's behalf, but Alexa told Charlotte in a backstage promo beforehand that she does not need Charlotte's help in trying to defeat Julia to win the Women's U.S. title. In the end, though, Alexa and Charlotte, they're still trying to, find where each other's boundaries are, because Alexa goes for the Sister Abigail DDT. Julia's able to get out of it and hit her finisher to retain the Women's United States Championship. On we go to an I Quit match between Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn. These two have been, at each other's throats for, quite a while. Of course, Sami won the match in Night of Champions, but Kross has been, attacking Sami Zayn doggedly and wrote him off of television with a lead pipe attack. But Sami comes back and challenges Kross to an I Quit match. And both these guys, all sorts of weapon shots, aplenty, tables strewn about everywhere, so on and so forth. Of course, Sami Zayn, he is not going to quit under any circumstances, and this drives Kross to the brink of insanity and just waylays Sami over and over and over and over and over again with a chair. And he grabs a lead pipe and also starts just wailing on him over and over and over and over again. And basically, Kevin Owens makes an appearance. Straight out of neck surgery. He's got a towel in his hand, and he's going to throw in the towel for Sami, but Sami stops him from throwing in that towel and says that he's got this. And Sami gets back into the ring, immediately gets hit with Doomsday Saito, Saito after Saito, one after the other, until his best friend throws in the towel for him, and Karrion Kross wins the I Quit match, and Sami and Kevin walk up the ramp. Kevin is trying to help Sami get back up the ramp as Karrion Kross stands in the ring, dominance personified. On we go to some cross-brand matchups, as Vikingo is going to be defending the AAA Mega Championship on this show against Rey Fenix. The reason why I wanted this match on the card is because it's Vikingo versus Rey Fenix. You know that there is going to be flips aplenty in this matchup, and this is just going to be not only a big showcase match for Vikingo, but also for Rey Fenix. Just have them go out there and let them do their flips aplenty. Again, really good back and forth between the two of them. Neither man looks like they have the edge up on them, on each other. Just really good back and forth Lucha Libre wrestling. But in the end, though, Vikingo does hit the 630 to retain the AAA Mega Championship. Continuing with the cross-brand promotion, we have, for the Raw Tag Team titles, Judgment Day. They threw out an open challenge on the Countdown show for SummerSlam, saying that they will take on anybody to try and see who will wrestle away these tag team titles from them. So, of course, it's going to be Finn and JD taking on Joe Hendry and his tag team partner, Mr. Iguana. So this one I threw about because, Judgment Day they're going to be heels, but I couldn't think of a really good babyface tag team on Raw for them to go up against. So I was like, well, we'll just put two of the most over people together in a tag team and just let the fun ensue. So Joe Hendry does his his pose with Lieska. Joe Hendry helps Lieska with some moves against Judgment Day. We're just here having fun, and of course, Judgment Day can be the ultimate bad guys, like stomp out Lieska, really mock Joe Hendry's pose, so on and so forth. Do all of the dirty tag team stuff. Baby faces, of course, get their nice shine towards the end of the match, but in the end, though, Judgment Day are able to walk away with the Raw tag team titles still around their waist. Moving on to a big grudge match that is not going to happen in real life, but in my booking, it is going to happen. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. I think this was going to be the match that they were going to be building towards for Rollins at SummerSlam, but that might not happen, depending on if Seth's knee injury is a work or if it is for real. But this matchup, of course, between two former Shield mates, it's going to be very, very personal. Of course, you have to worry about the Brawns getting involved, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Although not from Braun Breaker. We'll get into why in a little bit. But again, really good back and forth between the two of them. Both of them know each other like the back of their hand. Of course, have all of the amazing spots between them. Buckle bomb into the Superman punch. Roman going for a spear, but he gets caught into a pedigree. So on and so forth between the two of them. But in the end, though, Roman, being able to take out everyone, including Paul Heyman, who he hits a spear on, Roman is able to hit a spear inside of the ring and pin Seth for the win, getting a little bit of revenge after what happened at WrestleMania this year. Moving on to the Women's World title match, as Io Sky, yes, I still have Io as Women's World Champion in my universe, in my headspace, taking on Judgment Day's Roxanne Perez. Again, I think this is, wouldn't necessarily say a showcase match for Io, because I think she's proven herself on the big stage, but I would say this would be a showcase, even though I think she had that showcase in this year's Women's Royal Rumble match. Have her have another showcase in a one-on-one capacity with Io Sky, who I think is one of the best women's wrestlers on the roster right now. Really good back and forth between the two of them. Roxanne, even though she is smaller than Io, she's able to get the leg up thanks to Raquel Rodriguez at ringside. Just really good back and forth between the two of them. At one point, Roxanne hits Pop Rocks on Io, but Io kicks out of a 2. Again, really good back and forth. And then at the end, Io hits her over the moonsault to pick up the win against Roxanne and retain her Women's World Championship. And your main event for Night 1 of SummerSlam, Gunther defending his world title against Braun Breaker. Not too completely different, because Braun was in the gauntlet match to determine the number one contender for the world title. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, maybe my booking will line up. But no, CM Punk ended up winning that gauntlet match. But not in my timeline. Braun Breaker ends up getting that number one contendership. And this is just two powerhouses giving it their all. Braun does his, build up momentum run on the ropes. And this time he's not able to flatten the Gunther in the ring. He only just, makes him shuffle back, and then Gunther rebounds with just a big clothesline to take out Breaker. It's physical between the both of them. Each of them trying to take each other to the limit, and beyond. Breaker hits his, big Frankensteiner to Gunther, who goes up to the top rope to try and hit a splash on Breaker, but that doesn't work. Breaker hits his Frankensteiner. Breaker hits his super spear for Gunther to kick out. Gunther is able to slap on the sleeper, but Breaker is able to pick up Gunther up onto his shoulders, or onto his back, I should say, and drive him repeatedly into the corner. He hits not one, but two super spears onto Gunther to win the World Heavyweight title and continue the dissension between himself and Seth Rollins, who has that Money in the Bank briefcase and might end up using it on Breaker down the line. But that is the end of night 1, and we now head into night 2, and we open things up with the U.S. title match between Solo Sikoa and who we think is going to be Jacob Fatu, but Jacob Fatu, in my headspace, walks out with a boot on his leg, and he's walking with crutches, as well as the new bloodline of Solo Sikoa, JC Mateo, Tongaloa, a returned Tama Tonga, and now Tala Tonga, have basically systematically taken out Jacob's leg, and he cannot wrestle on the night. But he found a replacement, a very suitable replacement, and it is the WWE debut of Zilla Fatu. And he comes out, and he is even wilder and crazier than Jacob. He comes in, he basically clears house of everybody in that new bloodline. He gets into the ring, and it is basically a massive squash for Zilla Fatu. Solo does get in a bit of offense here and there, but it completely does not phase Zilla Fatu. He hits the hip attack in the corner, hits a pop-up Samoan drop, and then hits a big splash off of the top to win the United States Championship. Open up night 2 with a bang. We then go to a big grudge match with Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. Now, I know in real life that is kind of what is happening with, Drew and Logan Paul versus Orton and Jelly Roll, but I have split it up into 2 different matches, and that second one I will come back around to, and actually I might make a change to it. But Drew and Orton, they're going to have a physical grudge match between the both of them. Again, their rivalry extending back to even in the pandemic when Drew was champion. Really good back and forth between the two of them. At one point, Drew even counters the RKO into a Claymore, but that's only good enough for a 2. Orton able to hit an RKO out of nowhere, but that's only for a 2. But in the end, though, Orton is able to finally hit the punt on somebody. This person, of course, being McIntyre, to pick up the win in this matchup. And why not? Let's just go to the other matchup that I have. Logan Paul versus what I originally had written on the card was Ron Killings, because I just feel like they haven't done jack with Ron Killings ever since, he came back at Money in the Bank. Like, he's just been nowhere, really. But and he's going to continue not to be anywhere, because I'm scratching his name off the list and I'm putting in Jelly Roll in his spot. So it'll be Logan Paul versus Jelly Roll. Now, I know that seems just a tad bit dangerous, putting in someone who, doesn't wrestle a lot with, a first-time celebrity. But I think we will have enough smoke and mirrors. There will be enough smoke and mirrors in this match to kind of alleviate some of that, because both Drew and Orton come out to help their respective buddies throughout the matchup. And in the end, though, Jelly Roll is able to hit a massive choke slam onto Logan Paul to pick up the win in this matchup. Moving on to, again, some cross-promotional stuff. Trick Williams is on the show, and he will be defending the TNA Heavyweight Championship against the Monster Abyss. Now, I know the guy who portrays Abyss says that I think he's hung up the mask permanently now. I say give him at least one match in WWE. Come on now. So I think this will be the perfect kind of send off for Abyss, who overpowers Trick in the early goings, but Trick is able to use his speed and his quickness to evade some of Abyss's bigger shots. Abyss is able to hit the Black Hole Slam and Shock Treatment onto Trick, but it's only good enough for a 2. Trick is able to make his way back and to hit his finisher to win and retain the TNA Heavyweight title. And Abyss gets the proper send-off, as he should, because he is an absolute legend of the business. Moving on to the Women's IC title, we have Becky Lynch taking on Trish Stratus. Now, I know in real life that it is going to be Becky and Lyra once again, but I think I want to continue this trend of, Trish. If Trish is going to, come in from time to time, and she, made an appearance at the Women's Royal Rumble this year, she made an appearance at Evolution, why not have an appearance at SummerSlam and wrestling Becky for the Women's IC title, and also rekindling their rivalry that they had, but now with the dynamics reversed. So a really good back and forth between the two of them. Again, kind of harkening back to their rivalry that they had years ago. Trish goes for Stratisfaction, but Becky is able to reverse it into a suplex. She also dodges a chick kick and is able to put Trish in the disarmer, but Trish is able to get to the ropes. Trish does end up hitting Stratisfaction, but it is only good enough for a 2. But in the end, when Trish goes for her handspring Hurricane Rana out of the corner, Becky's able to catch her, and with an impressive feat of strength picks Trish up, hits a power bomb from the second rope, and is able to pull her up into a manhandle slam and to retain her women's IC title. Next up, we have a ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Titles as the Street Profits go up against DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, and the Wyatt Six, who are the current tag team champions. I just wanted to include, a lot of teams as possible because, one, I feel like both tag divisions are, kind of, being downplayed. I mean, look at what I booked for the Raw tag titles. But two, also just give them time to, showcase what they do. And what better way to showcase what a tag division can do, in my humble opinion anyway, is through a ladder match. So it's going to be absolute carnage. Of course, DIY and Motor City Machine Guns kind of rekindling what they had at the beginning of this year, as well as the Street Profits coming in there and also being, powerhouses, but also being quick. And of course, the Wyatt Six being just bulldozers of chaos and strength and power, with Uncle Howdy and Sister Abigail sitting at ringside looking at all the carnage being displayed. In the end, though, I do have the Wyatt Six retaining their tag titles, continuing on their tag reign for at least a good while. Moving on to our semi-main event, we have Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton. Of course, this being set up because Jade won Queen of the Ring, so she now has the title shot against Tiffany Stratton. Really good back and forth between the two of them. In this match, definitely play up to the strength of Cargill, but also the quickness and the agility of Tiffany Stratton. But Jade also shows that she has a bit of quickness and agility to her as well. Tiffany goes for the prettiest moonsault ever, but she misses because Jade rolls out of the way. Jade is able to hit Jaded onto Tiffany Stratton and pick up the win. She is the new WWE Women's Champion when Naomi comes in and clocks Jade with the briefcase. Now, I know in real life, Naomi's already cashed in and she's already Women's World Champion. However, we are rewinding the clock where she still has that briefcase. She cashes in on Jade and hits her split-legged moonsault to win and become the new Women's Champion. Because I think, in my head, this makes a little bit more sense than Naomi going after the Women's World title, in my head, anyway. And, of course, our main event for Night 2, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the WWE Championship in a street fight. This is going to be absolutely brutal between the two of them. Weapon shots aplenty, brawling all around MetLifestadium, going back and forth. And in the build-up to this, and we've already seen it in real life with Cody putting Cena through the table and making him sign the contract, Cody just has a little bit more bite to him. And Cena, while the referee is distracted, he's got the championship. And much like what happened at Backlash earlier this year, he does not use that championship. But that moment of weakness ends up being Cena's undoing. As he puts the championship aside, Cody, he walks straight into a low blow by Cody, who hits a crossroads on Cena. He goes out, grabs the championship, clocks Cena with the belt, and picks him back up again, hits another crossroads to win the WWE Championship, kicking off Cody's heel run as champion. And for the rest of the year, Cena will be a big baby face for the rest of his retirement year, going up against some of the biggest heels in WWE. So, yeah, that is pretty much my fantasy booking for SummerSlam this year. I wish I'd gotten this out just a little bit earlier to kind of like circumvent all of the awkwardness of, what is already confirmed for the show, but hey ho, that's just, me being the person that I am, just, doing stuff just way, way too late. But it's not too late quite yet. It's, I think, still a really interesting look at, what could have been, what could and could have been for the show. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of my fantasy booking, as well as your hype for this year's SummerSlam. I'm very much looking forward to it. But in the meantime, guys, be safe out there, and I will catch you guys next time.